our childhood and how we grow affects who we become massively.
Yeah.
So you'll see the type of people right now who are very greedy, the type of people who always want things to go their own way. And if you get to look at their childhood, like how did they grow up? Was everything just handed to them? So that's why now they feel entitled to things like always going through their own way.
Yeah.
And another thing, like if
You've just stepped into An Empty Street, a podcast where we casually engage in difficult conversations about relationships, wealth, and health. We are just three curious gentlemen who ask questions almost about everything, and our aim is to find answers from others and within ourselves. We sit down every week to explore unaltered conversations. So let's walk the talk together, and welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
in 3,
2,
1.
we're rolling. Welcome to the Empty Street Podcast
We're back.
with another one, man.
another week.
Another day.
You know.
Man. Just here, I have my little mermaids.
Swimming it out. Swimming it out.
Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm not inside, mina nginamalozi, so I can't get inside because
Awuzwani namanzi.
azobhekara la manzi, so thola ukuthi sengiyadisappear la phansi kwamanzi.
Ubuze ukuthi ushone.
Wow. So yeah, man.
Yeah. Otherwise, thank you for joining us
Yeah.
in this episode.
We are in Sandton,
Parkmore.
Parkmore, yeah.
Parkmore
What's
sites.
the name of this place?
Clear.
Clear.
Claire's,
Clear sentence.
Claire's at Sandton.
Yeah.
Claire's at Sandton. You should check it out. Dope place.
Yeah. I do recommend.
Like, it's just a dope place. I can't explain it, but you should come here. Obviously, with you, we put Mara.
Yeah.
We all about sharing good experiences with
Same as
everyone.
even who guys patalanga kodwa sithi imnandi.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So while I was at home, gents, I was speaking with one of my niggas,
Yeah.
and we were having a conversation around, I could say, the code or the notion that we should give our kids the life that we think they deserve, which is most of the time is most of us grew up in poverty, suffering, and we make sure we are successful. And when we get successful, we are like, I want to give my kids the best life. Like angifuni ukuthi bafane nami.
Yeah, he's
Go on.
Yabona. Angifuni ukuthi baphile lempilo engiyiphilile. So we were talking about how that kind of strips away something from the kids. For instance, there's some things you inherit from just having a hard childhood, like growing up in not so favorable situations. You get to be resilient, you get to learn how to manage your emotions. But then when you have life handed to you on a silver platter, it's like you don't know the hardships that you have to go through. And life is like a cycle. Gets bad, gets right, gets bad, it gets right. And if you are a kid who grew up in a cheese winner and then the cheese gets taken away from you, you won't be able to deal with it because when you were always handed cheese by your parents.
the same as like a life is taken out of you.
Yeah. So I just want us to discuss on that, your views on it, and whether is it really true, Guti, when you give your kid everything, you are stripping something away from them. You're stripping away them life.
I think he live on its own and done. He live on its own. That's why I'm not telling my parents as much as I nigga everything, but they always want you to work for it. So that back on good nigga that thing understanding you with la ngaphandle noma kuthiwa ngisekho akekho umuntu osazokunika everything. So bakhona ukuthi bakuguide or bakhona bakunika that thing ngisho ukuthi manual ukuthi mangasekho uzokhona ukuthi uphile kanje or nazi izinto ezokhona ukuphiliza. Same as maybe if they teach you maybe mali bangaguy but you have to earn it instead of just giving it to you. Then ukhona ukuthola ukuthi immediately if labantu abasekho then uyakhona ukuthi wenze short imali yakhona ukuthi uzenzele, and once wayithola ukhona ukuthi you appreciate khona ubona ivalue kuyo. Unlike ivalue yalahleka the more solo busy bakunika and the moment kunika kakhulu nalento la emcondo igcina se register ukuthi I don't have to work because endlini bakhona unga everything. That's why abanye even uma bayesigele sebayaya nje just ukuthi nje bacede ibanga ngibamba. So yizo zonke lezi zinto lokho khona ukuthi uyibone ukuthi na I think it's necessary for ukuthi umntwana momkhulisa umbonise le hardship to life, because that's why kunama hardship ukuthi asenze sibe better today abantu siyiwe ngithola isikhona ukuthi mobhekana ne-situation washuda le ngingayifacea ngisemncane uyanthola ayiveli destroy emotionally ungasazazi ukuthi uzenzeni, because nowadays the way even i-suicide say high ngakhona izinto ezikanjalo because we are not well exposed in a young age mayama struggles where umntana akho awumbulali uyanthola. It's nice ukuthi if ukhule ungenayo fancy life uyanthola ustruggle but then usho ukuthi abantu abami ngisebenzela bona. It's nice ntwana. It's nice feeling yakhona egrand ubona ukuprovide abantu abakhe niba provide impilo egrand nawe yakhona ukubona ukuthi ayabo manje kune improvement ebhani, but then at the end of the day impilo yakho ufuna ukuthi ibe ngcono abantu abakhe or babe ngcono is because of la ubuya khona, right? So now udinga ukuthi bakhombise lo because somehow na izobanceda if incede wena, don't you think ukuthi nabayidinga bakhona?
I think just to add on to what you're saying, like as a parent we shouldn't like be scared to actually say no to kids. You know, you can't always just say yes whenever they come to you.
Definitely.
I need this. With yes, can I have this? Because that is another thing. They grow up not being used to rejection. And then now when it's done elsewhere or in their own experiences of life outside of the household, it's now frowned on, and then you act like the world is now against you. Can't think no. Like rejection is also part of life. Things won't always go your way. Kids need to understand that you can't always get things handed to you on a silver platter. You know, you can't be spoon-fed every time. And so going through rejection helps you actually understand, you know what, I can't always have whatever I want. You know, if I don't, it also like encourages you to, if this door is closed, let me try something else.
Yes, sure.
But if you don't get to those kind of situations, then you won't understand it later in life. Because kumuloti, some of these things we grow up with, we end up using them, applying them in our everyday lives as we get older. You know, and you also have to pass it down to your kids. So if you then grow up not understanding that rejection is also part of life, and you there's ways of navigating around that, then how are you gonna then treat your own kids? You know? So I do think that we're not saying let your kids suffer. So we're not saying let your kids suffer or let kids suffer, but like do it with
suffering to a certain extent. Like healthy suffering.
Healthy suffering.
Like
as,
if you have the means.
As Untwana like I think we even said it off camera. Like if your kid wants maybe to go somewhere, maybe there's a trip they're planning on Abangan Mark, you know, and then they say, oh, can I have such and such for traveling in Mali, you know? And then you're like, you know what, if you can cut the lawn for me for a month, you teaching, you said value, you're teaching the kid from a young age, which you have to work for these things. They don't just get handed
just
to
because
you.
You're my son or my daughter.
Yes, now you get privileges. You'll get privileges to a certain extent, but for the most part, you're teaching them about life, because that is a life experience. That is a life experience. Even when they go older, it's still going to apply. So now it's the kid's responsibility to remember that. Such and such was said to me at a young age because I was going to go through this experience now. Now I appreciate every little last penny I have because I had to work for it. You know, I don't just go out and blow it all because I know what I put my blood, sweat and tears into getting this money. So you appreciate it even more. It's like money they don't appreciate it the same way they would appreciate money they've worked for. So it's those kind of things.
That's why example yeah ithama le etshela abantu abayo bayakhera every day then bakhera banika leyo mali eze-5 then bese batshela ukuthi per month kumele uyisevele mina into yokwenza yakukherisa so kukuwe wena ukuthi usave malini then but into ekumele uyazi uyi-1 imali ozoyisave end of uza nayo se-account then if you save 100 rand
I will double it.
Uyangithola so ikhona ukuthi kuteache lapha ngithola
You also encouraging the kid to save and
uyangithola so lapho uyakhona ufunda ukuthi then uyazi ukuthi makaya esigele imali omnika yona if is 10 rand uyazi 5 rand miliyele adle 5 rand if nakhona uyakhona ukuthi maybe case by ukuthi ungakhona ukuthi ungayidli yonke 10 rand uyazi ukuthi uyayibuyisa ngithola enye futhi ukhona ukuthi maka maybe lese bayavaya maybe ngemoto then afika umntwana athi na iKFC baba maybe ngicela ungithengele ukuthi then athi unamalini wena ugqwasele ngithola then understand ukuthi you need to contribute ayinto ukuthi wena mawucela bese izwakala kunamalini immediately mawufuna kumele ucabange ecala ukuthi ngizo contribute malini or nginamalini mina ngithola ngamnaleni ukuthi especially umuntu mazomtshela ukuthi hayi angenzela bese akwenzela akunike yonke into ngithola njengamanje abantwana bafila banama demands amanye ngithola ba entitled umuntu yakutshela ukuthi ngongilethela emhlabeni that's why manje bakhona ukutshela kanjalo abana ufika esikoleni akutshela ukuthi angithi angizange ngithi mina ngizali so manje vele kumele ukuthi into engiyifuna ungenzele
they entitled
ngithola
they entitled
and I mean it's all about value you'll take for granted things that you're just getting it's like Andrew Tate was saying that I quoted him on the other episode where we were talking about happiness about having money what's more enjoyable is being able to have access to going anywhere that you want to go to buying whatever you want to buy associating yourself with whoever you want to associate with start whatever business you want because you do have the financial
resources
but that doesn't compare to the feeling of reminiscing back to think that you came from nothing and then now you do have that money like you had nothing now you can be able to spend your money on whatever you want to spend it on that's the greatest feeling knowing where you come from like you get to appreciate life and the wealth that you have then the lifestyle that you have like on a significant scale compared to if something is just handed to you you'll just take that for granted you'll just think that that's a way of life and it's been proven all times that our childhood and how we grow affects who we become massively so you'll see the type of people right now who are very greedy the type of people who always want things to go their own way and if you get to look at their childhood like how did they grow up was everything just handed to them so that's why now they feel entitled to things like always going through their own way what you'll notice that I think we've all seen out there is a kid or a teenager that's coming from a soft background they are well off and akadingi next and then to their late teens they start doing drugs and impilo yabo just like falls off and you get to ask yourself like how because lo muntu has everything and Tina when we're looking at it who are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds we are like if bengile out mina ngiphethe imali so I do this and do that and bona from their perspective they don't see how we see they don't know the hunger or the desire of wanting something done bona everything has been done for them so I understand it so that's one of those things it's a disadvantage when you raise your child and you just deliver their life in a silver platter they just get everything they want and by that you get to raise kids who are pushovers who will always think that I'll get it when I want when I want it should be here they don't understand patience they don't understand waiting they don't understand rejection not getting what you want sometimes so basically it's a kid that's not resilient and another thing is emotional intelligence kids who don't know how to deal with their emotions. If they don't get what they want, they'll get stress relievers, which is drugs, alcohol, or any other substance, or they distract themselves with something so that their life now, it falls. It falls. Unlike someone who's used to not getting stuff, Leo Muntu understands I had nothing anyways, so I can just focus on working to get it.
Ebuhlungu kakhulu ukuthi direct as much as uzoyenza as a parent utshe ukuthi uyenza looking at the good side and ukuthi now ikunika that feeling yokuthi hayi man izinto esingenza izinto ezibetter for umntanami but into kakhulu oyenza uyambulala. Just imagine ngikhula ngazi ukuthi hayi impilo yami mina is set, it's all set. Uyangithola noma konke into engiyenza sengimane ngiyayenza because ngiyaphila but ngiyazazi nginemali. Uyangithola ngiyazazi ukuthi if now 10 years later ngiyazi nginemali engimele bami noma ngathi uyafa yazi khona imali engizobe nginayo. Uyangithola so uphila kanjani mophila kanjani isikuphi isidingo sokuthi uvive maybe uma yes girl or
finding something
meaningful. Uyangithola ozoyenza
I worked for this.
Yes so i-glory lapho ithola kanjani.
I think we also mentioned something about not letting your kids manipulate you.
Yes.
Like understanding when a kid is trying to manipulate you. Puppy eyes and all of that, and tantrums. All of that stuff is manipulation. So you as a parent, because really you love it, you're gonna fall for that. And then you do what? You end up giving them what they want. But you as a parent should also remember that, I'm supposed to instill that thing in you. You can't always get what you want. And that's not you not loving them. You should understand that it doesn't mean that you love them any less. They should also understand that. And that's where they grow up understanding that, you know what, maybe I'm like, yes, this and this is available, but I should work for it before I earn it. You should earn things. Don't just always, don't just expect things to get handed to you, even though they're there. Even though they're still earn it. Because you want to carry those principles and values throughout your life.
But just to wrap off from what you're saying, I think this will be my last words as well, Uguti. We've all seen, like what you're saying, Uguti, you shouldn't let your kids manipulate you. We've seen like Sambe Mall or Estratini, we've seen Umtwana or Kalayo non-stop, and the parent doesn't know how to deal with that kid. That's something that started somewhere. Whenever they don't get what they want, they should punish you in that way. Like blackmailing you, basically, not even punishing. So, in the important that I could say is try to understand your child. Understand that their childhood is the most important thing that you can assist in putting a hand into developing. If ever you understand that, you can also teach them lessons so that they become better people in our society. So, those are my last words.
Yes, see. Mawukhulisa abantwana maybe by more than 2, then mawubenzela izinto ukhona ukuthi awukhona ubenzela sometimes boy 2. That's why maybe this month ngenzela lo, the other month ngenzela lo, maybe kunezinto engimele wenzele khona. Angithola. Then ubaye abantwana bazokutshela ukuthi mawenzela lo akutshela ukuthi ungithandi mina because ufocus kulo. Uyangithola. And hayi ukuthi uthanda lo more than lo. But into bafundisa yona ukuthi in life your time will come. Uyangithola. I will always when it's your time, it's your time. No. Fanele understand ukuthi fanele ukhona ukushayela umunye umuntu izandla, then wena ume nje kanje, then wazi marushaya izandla, then wazi ngelilanga now get to experience the feeling. Uyangithola mabakushayela izandla. I think that for me those are my last words.
In my last words, in closing, I would just say, Wuti, we mentioned, Wuti, give your kids lessons, right? And those lessons can also be like a rewarding factor. The reward doesn't always have to be things that go their way. But a reward can also be a lesson. And so giving them something they can learn from can be a reward that they can live with their whole life. And they actually apply to their everyday black lives. As I said, Guti, it becomes part of their values and principles. So just remember that in raising your kids, just try to give them lessons, you know, into how they can actually like move through life. You know, don't always expect things to just get handed to you. But if I'm giving you this, it should come with you having done something. You know, don't just expect things to get handed to you when you haven't done anything to actually reap the rewards of it. You know, put in the work and you'll get the results.
Yeah.
So yeah.
As you always say,
take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of your pockets. This is the Empty Street Podcast, and we signing out.